and we will go ahead and get started. So this is Essential Oils Part 2. I know we had a great time last time, so we just want to be able to come on here and answer any of the questions that you all may have in this panel platform. So I know that myself and Dr. Betty and Karen have been involved with essential oils for a very, very long time. Those two probably longer than me, but we all share a deep love for essential oils. So I thought it would be interesting for you all to kind of get an inside look into our lives as far as how we got into this whole essential oil space. So I suppose I can start if you ladies don't mind.
Go right ahead.
All right. So you all have probably heard me tell this story a lot, but my brother got diagnosed with cancer in 2014. And after his diagnosis, he's fine now, but after his diagnosis, he was determined to heal naturally as well as using traditional methods. So when he started to kind of open us up to this whole natural healing world, I really never knew where I wanted to kind of find myself, but I landed in essential oils, and I've just been fascinated by the healing power of essential oils, how they help to soothe the mind, the body, the spirit, just help physically. And I really have appreciated how powerful they are. So I started as a Young Living distributor in, I don't even remember what year, maybe 2016. And then my passion and my excitement about it grew. So I knew that I wanted to get more information. So I got my Aromatherapist certification from the New York Institute for Aromatic Studies in 2017. And since then, you know, I've just been so enamored with essential oils. I'm so excited about them, love learning about them. And then here comes Wakana just on top of it, just giving me all this new love. So essential oils have been my thing, I'll say probably about the last 4 years. So I'm kind of sort of a baby in the game, but I really enjoy essential oils and their healing properties. So ladies, if either of you want to share your experience, I'd love to hear it.
I defer to Dr. Betty.
Okay, so hi everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight for this exciting part 2 of essential oils. So I am actually, I don't know if everybody on here was with us the last time, but I'm a registered nurse as well as a doctor of naturopathy. And my introduction to essential oils was basically having completed my training as a naturopath and getting started in the business, and, you know, being excited about helping people regain their health, and especially in a physical way, doing my manipulation. But I realized that, wait a minute, this is not a panacea either. I need some more tools. And I ran into a friend that I had not seen in years, and she turned me on to essential oils. And like Dr. Joy, I initially started with Young Living also. And this was about, oh my goodness, 2000, probably 2000 or 2001. And I was just enamored with them. I mean, it was the information, the possibilities, the effects of the essential oils was just so fascinating to me. And I think I had every oil that they ever created, and did some amazing things with those oils. Because their oils were so pure, you could actually ingest them. You could do implantations, all kinds of techniques and usages that who knew? Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was my initial introduction to them. I was so enamored. I went to all the conventions. I mean, I bought all the books, and to this day, I still use essential oils to supplement not only my diet, but also to help to supplement my treatments with my clients utilizing different techniques like raindrop therapy, Vitaflex, and that kind of thing. So, yeah, as well as infusing foods with them. So, yeah, essential oils are just, I don't know how we ever did without them.
That's right.
Well, I'll add to that wonderful story of these two ladies. For me, my journey started in 2003, and I was just new to Houston, Texas. So I had a friend invite me to a Healing Oils of the Bible class. I was curious, and I went. I was tired. It was late. I get a little moody when I'm tired. And so the class was informational. I had a host of information. I wasn't necessarily interested in joining the business at that point, but I was interested in what kind of natural alternatives were available for headaches and for sleeping, because those were the two things that were top of my list through this stressful new gig I had. And so she introduced me to peppermint and lavender. Those were my two first Young Living oils that I experienced. So there were 3 for 3 for Young Living. And those essential oils, I had to learn from the very base that I didn't know what real peppermint smelled like until I had some. I didn't know what real lavender smelled like until I had it. So there's a big difference in the quality of oils that are on the market, and it's really important to educate ourselves. So I used the peppermint essential oil to help relieve tension for my headaches, and also to help with any kind of indigestion, stomach ailments I had. You can rub peppermint actually on your tummy or lower abdomen with some carrier oil because it is a hot oil. But also I used lavender. If I put a couple drops or 1 drop on my finger and a drop right by under my nose tip, I was out. Because it didn't take much. I was tired, but I wasn't getting to sleep. And the lavender relaxed me and allowed me to sleep pretty soundly. So that was my journey through getting connected. I joined the actual business 4 years later in 2007. And we're 13 years later, if you will, with essential oils. And my niece introduced me to CBD because she's a millennial and they all know about CBD. And so she thought it would be a great complement to what I was already doing. And turns out she was right. And another friend pointed me to Wakana. So it's good to have a good, strong network. And that's the end of my story for now.
Awesome, awesome. So it's so amazing that we started in this whole essential oil space, and then we came over to the CBD space, and we were able to have so many transferable skills. And we have products that have essential oils infused into them. Our hemp-powered hair, our topicals for pain relief, both our Dr. Rita's rub and our extreme pain relief. And it's amazing that a lot of our oils that have been infused in there complement the CBD so well in terms of the anti-inflammatory properties, in terms of the pain relief. I just think it's so amazing. So how have you all used our products that are, particularly the ones that are infused with essential oils? How have you all used those products, and how have they helped the customers that you all have encountered?
Well, I'm gonna jump right in. I use the First Defense nasal spray, and it is infused with a multitude of different essential oils along with our CBD. And I am using this a lot now from a preventative construct. Since we're at the beginning of our cold and flu season, if you will, I want to make sure that I'm building my immune system. So we have eucalyptus oil in our First Defense, and peppermint, and what else do we have? We have lemongrass and lemon, cinnamon and rosemary. It's a powerhouse, which is why it's appropriate named First Defense. And basically, we're taking the nozzle off see if I can do that, because I actually cheat a little bit, but you actually insert the nozzle in your nostril and do a quick squirt, and it goes very high up your nose bridge to create a defense of the oil barrier, if you will, but also to help remove or release, clear the toxins, if you will, from our breathing, because there's a lot of things in the air that are not good for us. And actually, while I'm speaking to you, there's smoke from California coming over the mountains into Reno. So we have very poor air quality right now. And they actually don't want anybody, any age outside, because right now the sun is orange here, and that is way too much pollution in the air for healthy breathing. So the first defense helps as a buffer in terms of protecting my breathing, but it also will open up, because it's very poignant as a smell. It also will not only open your nasal passages, but assist your lungs in terms of breathing as well. So this is a real, and I use this on my mask. What am I saying? I put this on my mask. That's like my number one thing these days is I'll put a drop or two on my mask, spread it out with like a Q-tip, and that has helped enormously when out breathing with my mask, because wearing a mask is uncomfortable to begin with, but this really will help you in your breathing just normally. Perfectly, your air quality is better than ours. So that's what I'm using right now.
That's amazing, preventative wise.
Yes.
Dr. Betty, anything for you?
Yes, I too am a big fan of the first defense. In fact, I woke up early this morning and I had a not really difficulty breathing, but I felt like I couldn't get a deep breath. And I immediately jumped up. I'm like, oh my goodness. And I grabbed it, and just a very light squirt into each nostril. And like Karen said, it does go deep up into the sinuses. It is so potent and so strong, though. We encourage you not to take a big sniff. With the usual nasal sprays, you go, well, not with this one.
Oh, no.
This one. So literally you just spray it and then sniff lightly. And that is enough to get things moving.
That's true.
You actually probably want to wait a minute or so before you do the other nostril, because I'm telling you, it opens you up all the way. What I like about it too is I have a tendency to be a little congested, especially in my right nostril. And what I have found is that because our sinuses not only are here, but they're also here, and you can have a little something going on in there and not even be aware. We'll call it sinusitis, a little inflammation. And when I first started using the first defense, I found that when my sinuses really opened up and I buzzed my nose, I found that there was a little a yellowish tinge to my mucus, which says that there's some inflammation up in there. And after using the first defense, it was gone. And I don't have that issue with the congestion back up in the sinuses. My other go-to favorite is black seed. This is a miracle oil, and I even tell the grandbabies, "Oh, come on, let grandma give you some. She got some magic. Run for that magic." So what I use this for is, I may have mentioned this before. I had this. It wasn't quite an earache. It was just a pain. Just a very slight pain I felt in my ear, and I'm like, oh my goodness, what is that? And so what I did was I just took a drop on my finger and I put it behind my ear, in front of my ear, and I had a little bit of a residue left on my finger, and I just put it in on the inside of my ear. And within 5 minutes or so, I no longer felt that discomfort, and I haven't felt it since. Um, so these two are definitely my favorites. In terms of the essential defense, this is a fabulous formulation. It has the cinnamon oil in it. It has lemon oil in it, clove, rosemary, and the eucalyptus. And these are all oils that have antimicrobial uh, properties. In other words, they work to fight bacteria, um, viruses, and even fungal um, pathogen. This is an amazing product because it, I want to say it kills, it kills those bacteria. And as you know, in our mouth, we have lots and lots of bacteria. Mm-hmm. Many people, especially as you age, get pockets of in the gums, pockets between the teeth, where bacteria can fester, so to speak. And so this is an excellent product to add to your oral care regimen. It can be used along with your toothpaste if you put a drop of carrier oil with it, because it is a very hot oil. Cinnamon is a hot oil as well as clove. And so by utilizing a drop of carrier oil, MCT, coconut oil, you could even use coconut oil, grapeseed oil, and the like, you dilute it, so to speak. However, that dilution does not minimize the effectiveness of it. It just kind of cools it down a little bit so that it does not cause an uncomfortable sensation in your mouth. But yes, so do that, and on the toothpaste, and brush the teeth, make sure you're brushing the gums down at the base of the tooth by the root. And then per the instructions on here, you can add 1 drop of the oil to a carrier oil and put it in your mouth slowly and swish it around. This is excellent in terms of killing bacteria, which is one of the causes of bad breath or halitosis. Mm-hmm. So, and then after that, I throw my head back and I gargle really, really well, because some people still have their tonsils, but bacteria can lodge itself in the tonsils and just in the back of the throat. So this is excellent in terms of helping to flush those toxins out.
And Dr. Betty, you actually provided a really good segue, because I always talk about how I feel like our co-founders had healing in mind when they decided which essential oils they were going to add to our product offerings. So just like you all mentioned, I use the nasal spray as well, maybe like once a week, especially in these times, because I don't need it every day. The essential defense, I'm good for a DIY. So I might add some to some carrier oil and put it on the bottom of my feet before bed, just so it can get through those large pores on the feet to every cell in my body.
Exactly.
I may add it to a cup of tea. I may add it to my toothpaste. And because I've been using essential oils and experiencing essential oils for so long, sometimes I can use them neat versus in a carrier
Exactly.
oil or diluted. So since we're talking about how these oils are used, you talked about facilitating deeper breathing. And I find that our peppermint and eucalyptus does that, especially when placed on the mask. And it can even be placed on the side of the mask so that you're still getting those vapors, but you're not getting them directly in your nose where it's overwhelming. So since we're talking about kind of, neat versus diluted, safe versus unsafe, what are some safety measures and safety precautions that you think everybody should be mindful of when using essential oils? I believe we can start with the neat versus diluted. But if you all have any other ideas as far as safety precautions that people should have in mind when they're using our essential oil products.
Well, just so that, excuse me, everybody knows what neat means, that means using the oil straight out of the bottle without any dilution. For the average person, I would say that the safest method of utilizing the essential oils is to use a carrier oil. And some people say, oh, but more is better. No, more is not necessarily better. In fact, pure essential oils, which ours are pure and organic. They are distilled, and they are organic, not diluted with or adulterated with any other oil, and they are not extracted from the plant material using any other chemicals like hexane. And this is a very, very important point because many of the companies that market essential oils do those things. They use hexane to the essential oil from the plant material, and or they use other chemicals and or oils to adulterate the oils so that they're cheaper. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
And so this brings me to the importance of knowing, again, I think we mentioned this the last time, knowing where your oils are coming from, making sure that you get them from a reputable company. And generally speaking, do not take essential oils internally, generally speaking. There are some that can be used safely, but it is best to, again, have the advice of someone who is skilled and experienced in using essential oils. Because again, it's so easy to say, oh, just one drop. No, I need 4 or 5 drops. And no, you don't need 4 or 5 drops. If you take a good oil, you can take 2 or 3 drops and put it in a carrier of a whole half ounce or an ounce or even a tablespoon. And that oil is going to have all of the properties, the characteristics, and the effectiveness of 1 drop neat. So.
And when I'm jumping in, Dr. Betty, when we talk
on.
about carrier oils, I'm just pulling off of that, is not, we're talking a shea butter, a coconut oil, a jojoba oil.
Grapeseed.
Yeah, I mean, there's a host of carriers, and that's just the common language for it, to help dilute, to help you, not in terms of, well, it can be diluting from the potency, but not from the value of the actual oil. Some people have very sensitive skin, and so the carrier oil helps you spread out the benefit of that oil, if you will, in a wider surface area, but also, like I said, just to get the benefit of the constituents of that oil. So different parts of your body may be more sensitive than other parts from how you actually put the oil on. So the carrier oil can help you keep your oil longer in terms of duration, but I'm a pretty neat person. So I have I don't have a lot of sensitivities, but I know lots of people do for lots of different reasons, whether they're taking medications, their skin, you know, there's a million reasons why skin is sensitive. So it's best to test an oil before you go all hog out. And so one spot that I was always referenced is your inner forearm is a good spot to test oils with, essential oils. Your citrus oils, stay out of the sunlight. Use those more in the evening or indoors. And citrus oils, I mean your lemon, your orange, your tangerine, your lime, those types of oils, your lemongrass. They are very photosensitive to the sun. So we don't want to be out with the blazing sun with those oils. But you can use those essential oils, as Dr. Joy mentioned, to infuse, you know, water, or to ingest them. That way you can flavor some water in a healthy manner with a good quality essential oil.
Right.
As I'm gonna reiterate, as both ladies have already brought up, but you're also can, in some cases, if it's dietarily available, those essential oils can use the flavor in cooking as well. So there's a host, just like our CBD products, in terms of how we infuse them into food products. You know, it's the same science, if you will, on someone infusing the essential oils. So, but we want to make sure you're using quality products like our CBD products from Wakana. And if you're going to use an essential oil, use Wakanas, if you will, for different, there's different usage. Some are aromatic, some are topical, some are, what's my third one, ladies? Internal and aromatic, topical, and I'm missing my other one. I'm thinking my eye. ATI.
Ingestion.
So, and thank you.
You're welcome.
And we're speaking of infusing. So when we talk about an essential oil being infused, can an essential oil be infused, or are the carriers infused with the essential oil? What do we mean when we say that something is infused? Because I believe we had that question on our group, and I just wanted to be able to clarify exactly what that infusion was. From my understanding of the question, this particular one of our business partners wants to infuse our products, or maybe infuse some essential oils into another carrier to be able to spread it out more. And if you are on the line and you remember that you asked that question on our group, just feel free to speak up. But when we're infusing essential oils, what does that look like in terms of infusing them in the shea butter, or how does that work, ladies?
Well, my understanding would be that you're actually putting it into the oil and mixing it in. Mm-hmm. And it brings to mind when you go to some of the gourmet stores and you see olive oil infused with garlic or infused with rosemary branches. So the oil, the carrier oil, is actually drawing the properties of whatever you put in it into its
into that carrier
itself.
Well, like our perfect example would be our butter, right? With the butter. So like Dr. Rita just shared the recipe. I haven't tried it yet, but I've heard about it. And so we would use the butter with our flour, even though flour is not a liquid form. We're still getting the benefit of the oil from the flour, as we draw it out to flavor the butter, and then we make the butter cold and we've got our infused flour butter. So it's the same construct as Dr. Betty was talking about with the rosemary and oil.
And then when you have an herb that the oil comes from, by simply kind of messing with the leaves or kind of rubbing out some of the oils, that's how you can start that process of whatever the carrier that it's in, extracting those oils out. So, I mean, I think the easiest example of that is if you're thinking about a citrus fruit that you have in your hand, like a lemon or an orange or a lime. When you're rubbing that skin or peeling that orange or lime or lemon, those essential oils are literally coming out on your fingers.
True.
So if you can think about an herb that an oil comes from, like, or a plant that an oil comes from, rosemary, basil, peppermint, you know, you can kind of smell those on those leaves as you continue to rub. And then if you put it into that carrier oil, and a carrier means it just helps to carry that essential oil deeper into the cells.
Yes.
You know, that's how you can infuse your carrier oil. I just wanted to be clear on what that infusion was, because you're basically infusing a carrier oil with an oil from a plant material, whether it's the leaves or the seeds or the shrubs. That's what that infusion looks like.
Yes.
Yeah. So do we have any questions from the audience so far? I mean, I know we can talk about essential oils all day, but I want to open up the chat and just make sure that anybody that has any questions has an opportunity to ask them. And then ladies, do you all have any thoughts about, while we're waiting for people in the chat, any thoughts about any of our essential oils that may be able to help with focus or fatigue or memory, any of those types of conditions that people may be dealing with?
Well, peppermint is the go-to oil for energy, focus, just to give you kind of a wake up. And yeah, I think that is an oil that everybody should have around the house, because not only does it help with, again, focus and fatigue, bringing a certain amount of energy to you, but it also helps with many other things around the house, like spiders and ants and all kinds of critters. You know.
Well, regarding focus, I know peppermint is used by a lot of students to help them in their studies to stay focused and alert. So I do know some teachers who use diffusers in the classroom to help their students stay focused with the lesson, as well as to stay focused on taking their test. Let me put it that way. So peppermint is a really wonderful essential oil for alertness, and if you have to study late, it's a really good essential oil to inhale to keep your mind on your books and your studies as well. So I just wanted to add to what Dr. Buddy was asking or saying about peppermint.
And I would even add eucalyptus to that as a stimulating oil. I know some people that have said that it helps them relax. For me, it's a very stimulating oil, so I likely wouldn't use any type of eucalyptus or peppermint on my feet or inhaling in the diffuser, because for me, it's a very stimulating oil. Just like how CBD affects different people differently, essential oils affect different people differently. We have studies that show how essential oils can affect the general the general population, but everybody's body is different.
It's different.
So you may have a different response or a different reaction.
Dr. Joy, I see a question. Okay. There's several questions. One is, what do you say you use on your feet? So
okay, so any essential oils can be placed on your feet. When you're using them, say there's an essential oil that you don't particularly care for the smell of, but you like the medicinal properties that it offers. A good place to put that oil, just like our grandmothers put Vicks on our feet, a good place to put that oil is on your feet, because those pores on your feet are so large that essential oil can absorb better into your body. And if you don't care for the smell, then you really don't have to deal with that smell. I believe the one that I said I put on my feet was the Essential Defense. And I like doing that, especially in these times, even with my daughter. So I like doing that, especially in these times, to just kind of arm my body with protection from, the germs that are around.
Yeah.
So, and I noticed a big difference when my daughter was in preschool specifically. I noticed a big difference in her coming home with sniffles when I would faithfully put it was thieves oil at the time because it was a different company, but I would faithfully put that oil on her feet versus days when I forgot. And daycare is just teeming with germs. So I definitely use that for her and for us. And I just like to use that as a protective mechanism. But any of these oils, I mean, I would put any of them on my feet to allow them to kind of get through to my bloodstream if I didn't want to put it in the diffuser or I didn't have time.
We have another question from Elaine. Do you have oils for joint pain, inflammation?
Yes. So in addition to our amazing CBD line, if we're talking about essential oils specifically, our peppermint, our eucalyptus, tea tree can address some inflammation at times, but our peppermint and eucalyptus, I think, would be excellent if all you had on hand was peppermint and eucalyptus and you had a carrier oil to add to it, or if your skin can handle it neat without a carrier oil, apply that to those joints or areas of inflammation, and you'll begin to feel some relief. That is part of the reason why that peppermint is included in some of our topical preparations, our extreme relief cream, and in our Dr. Rita's rub. So those are excellent in terms of anti-inflammatory and for pain.
What are good essential oils to use during pregnancy or nasal congestion?
So in pregnancy, the safest way, in my opinion, is to diffuse your oils, because when you're applying them topically, not only are they, penetrating your bloodstream, but they're also penetrating the baby's bloodstream. And not to say that these oils are poisonous or anything, but you're dealing with a little small baby, and you don't want to overwhelm their senses, overwhelm their systems. So the safest way is to diffuse that, or maybe put it on a tissue and smell it. But I wouldn't recommend ingesting any peppermint oil while pregnant, as well as while breastfeeding, because it can slow down the milk production. So that's one little fun fact that I learned when I was pregnant, but it can slow down the milk production. So I would just recommend that if you do have any nasal congestion, diffuse it, maybe put a couple of drops in some boiling water and kind of let the vapors get into the air around you. Mm-hmm. Ladies, do you have any other suggestions?
No, I agree completely.
Yeah, that would be about it, because there are some oils that should not be used while pregnant at all. So
She wants to be careful.
To consult an expert before using any essential oils while pregnant.
I see a couple other questions. Outside of diffusing peppermint for focus and energy, what other areas would you place the peppermint?
Well, I kind of mentioned before, when I had some indigestion, I would rub my lower abdomen. Peppermint is seen as what's called a hot oil. So I would use a carrier oil to dilute it if you know your skin is sensitive. Whenever I've had a stomach upset, ate something that didn't agree with me, or my time of the month, 1 or 2 drops of peppermint on my lower abdomen. I tend to rub in a circular motion for a little bit. Maybe that just makes me feel better, I don't know. But the peppermint does relax any type of cramp, or it also, in terms of discomfort from indigestion, can help relieve some gas. So peppermint is a natural when it comes to indigestion, and depending on the severity of cramps. Everyone has different levels of cramping. So those are a couple other ways to use peppermint. And I also put it in tea. I take, peppermint's pretty strong, so real peppermint's pretty strong. So 1 drop of peppermint, if you will, you can make a hot tea, Dr. Rita is always reminding me, she takes a drop or two of peppermint before her workout and during her workout to reinvigorate herself. Mm-hmm. She'll rub it on her clothes. She'll activate it with her hands. She'll smell it. And that helps keep her going with her workout. But it also infuses a beautiful aroma of peppermint. So she's got a great entree to talk about peppermint oil and the Wakana products. People asking, what's that great smell? You don't hear that question often when you're working out. So,
Right.
Those are some other uses. I mean, ladies, I'm sure there's others.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can also use it for headaches.
Mm-hmm.
To again use a bit of a carrier oil, but to place it, rub it in the nape of the neck, behind the ears, and you might even want to put a bit on the temples, and depending on where your headache is. But those are generally some good places.
Out of one more for us. For those of us going through change of life, which I am one at this time, I do use peppermint on the back of my neck. And it does help cool me down.
Yes.
And it's important because other things happen when everybody's hot around the color. So peppermint is good for that. You can create a peppermint spritz, but you want to avoid your eyes, obviously, because of the hotness of the oil. But peppermint is a lifesaver when it comes to cooling sensation.
And it's so ironic because it's a hot oil. It can give you that sensation on your skin. Yeah. But then if you're hot outside and put it on the back of your neck, or create a spray bottle with maybe a little bit of witch hazel so that that peppermint oil can disperse throughout the water. You got a little spray bottle and this, get rid of that personal summer. Let's see what we have. We have a couple more questions. Define neat again, please.
Well, neat is using the oil as it comes out of the bottle without diluting it. So that's like saying straight with no chaser.
Oh, I like that. Right, no chaser. That's right.
What it is.
That's right. What's good for an earache? And can we put essential oils in the ear?
You don't put any oil in the ear. If you recall, when I was talking about the black seed oil and the earache that I had, I put it behind my ear. I put it in front of my ear, and the small amount that I had left on my finger, I just took it and I just blotted it in the outside of the ear canal. But you don't want to drop any oils in your ear.
Got it.
Ever.
Never, ever. I'm sorry, go ahead, Dr. Joy.
No problem. I'm looking to see if we have more questions.
While you're doing that, I did want to bring up the fact that in mixing, since oil and water don't really mix, a good way, especially if you're going to infuse your tea or your water, a good method to utilize is to take just a small amount of honey or agave or something of that nature, and put a drop and stir it around, and that will help to disperse the oil so that it doesn't just sit on top of your beverage.
Right. Because that and to that point about water and oil not mixing, if you get it in your eyes, please do not use any water to try to get it out. I'm speaking from personal experience. No water. Use whatever carrier oil you have. Don't worry about how you look. Just slap it on your eyeball, because that's going to pull that burning out much quicker than water will, because it's not pulling anything out. Bad experience, y'all. Bad experience.
And that actually holds true with putting it on your skin. If you were to use it neat and felt like, oh, this is burning or it's hot, add a carrier oil. and that will diffuse it and cool it down immediately.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Let's see.
Um,
Go ahead, Karen.
Someone was asking for a list of what oils are good for what. Like a complete compilation list. And I'm chuckling because there are hundreds of oils.
Yeah.
And we try to compare the essential oils that we're talking about to the Wakana products and what's in our Wakana products. So the ingredient lists are on, if you go to your back office or if your customer is listed in the directions of the ingredients, which oil is in which product. But to compile a list, that's an awesome task. So we would try to help. We want you to help narrow down what usage, I guess, you really want
Right.
to help you. So we probably will have, if you have something specific and you don't have your question now, you can always put your question in the Facebook group as well. And we're happy to follow up with you in that manner as well. I think someone else also asked about, I think it was hormonal sweat, and does peppermint work for underarm hormonal sweats too? And I don't quite know the answer to that. Do either one of you know about putting peppermint for your underarms?
Underarms.
I imagine, I don't know specifically the answer to that question, but I would imagine that since it does have the cooling properties, that it could help.
Yeah.
If there's a hormonal imbalance there, our CBD can help to bring the body back in balance, so that can help with the hormones. Peppermint on its own, though, not sure if it'll help with the hormonal piece, but the heat under there for sure.
Well, I was, I guess, confused as to whether they were speaking in terms of taking it internally, excuse me, or utilizing it under their arms, which is not a good idea because that is a very hot oil and that is very sensitive, area.
Yeah, with the shaving and
I
all
have,
that.
anywhere where there's hair like that, I've made the mistake of putting some peppermint in some of those places, and oh boy,
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait to get the carrier oil to slap on to cool it down.
Yeah.
So
go ahead. Go ahead, Karen.
I was going to say, so we're back to Dr. Joy's recommendation of using your CBD to help balance out your hormones. Right. So that's your tincture, right? We're talking about in terms of under your tongue. Be pretty religious about taking that. That'll help with the homeostasis of your system.
Exactly.
Because I do use the tincture routinely. I'm on a really serious regimen with all these hormonal changes, and take your gummies as well to assist, just really regulating your whole system. So you don't have to think about it necessarily as just being topical to that one space. I'm just trying to think what other remedy you could use for that, but I'd have to do a little bit of research. So I'll have to get back to you, Letitia, on that.
We have one question in the Q&A, and then I wanted to give any of our medical advisory board who is on, if they've had any experiences with their patients with essential oils, I want to make sure that they have an opportunity to speak on that. But this one is, can I put the Essential Defense in my hot tea? Or would you recommend another oil when you're experiencing a tight chest due to bronchitis? I have an idea, but I'd like for you all to be able to chime in as well.
The Essential Defense. I would I would not put the essential defense. I haven't really used it internally. I would a drop in my hand, activate it, and cup it over my nostrils and inhale. You could also put it in hot water and again let the vapors go up into your nostrils. You could also put it on your chest with a carrier oil, especially if you are have very sensitive skin, right on your chest, which would help to open things up. Even though it's external, it's going to go into your system. Anything you put on your skin is going into your system. So please be careful what you put on your skin.
And
It's just your skin. It's connected to your rest of your body.
right. And as far as the essential defense, I mean, I've even used essential defense on aching teeth because of that clove oil that's inside of it. I've used clove oil on its own if I've had a toothache, but because essential defense does have that clove in it, I've dropped a couple of drops in some water and created a mouthwash. As far as the bronchitis, I have put it in my tea. So that's something that, like you said, to your point about dropping it on the honey and making sure that that allows it to evenly disperse into the water. That's something that I've done.
And I know some people have put it on their toothbrush when they are brushing their teeth. And I do believe you can use it with a capsule, a veggie capsule for ingestion. And that could help in terms of some of the bronchitis.
But we're talking about the essential defense.
Yeah.
Okay. So because of the oils that are in there, I think you would definitely want to limit the amount if you were doing it in a capsule or even a
Oh yeah, 1 or 2 drops, nothing big, even with a carrier oil with those drops. Yeah.
Because that veggie capsule is going to give you such a small amount anyway.
Say that again.
The veggie capsule is going to be a small amount, so you don't need 10 drops inside of that veggie capsule. You should have 1 or 2, as Karen stated, and like you said, not using too much, and then filling the rest with the carrier oil before you close the capsule.
Now, another thing that I have done with the essential defense is to put a drop in a carrier oil and place it on my throat. And what is left, I just take it and I whisk on the inner aspects of my nostrils and then just inhale. And that also helps to not only clear the passages, open them up, but also give you that relief, that expansion, so to speak, in your lungs. So that's another thing that you might want to try.
Yeah. Yeah, our products are very strong and potent, our CBD products, and we're really blessed to have such a combination of products that are in tandem with multiple essential oils. So all of this natural medicine we have, if you will, it's an oxymoron, but it's the best way to help keep our bodies in balance, but also help put them back in balance if we're ever, our immune system's weakened or what have you. So hopefully that answers the question.
I believe it did. And we have one more question that can be answered quickly. And then if anyone on the medical advisory board, I see Dr. Daniel and Dr. Tyus on here. If you all have any final comments, or Dr. Rita. The last question that we have in the chat is, can you take black seed orally? And that answer is yes, I have.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I know taking it for a multitude of reasons. There are so many reasons, so many even studies about how black seed oil can be taken. So yes, orally, yes, you can. Dr. Daniel, hi. Oh, you're still muted.
Essential defense.
I'll say, I've got my defense right here.
Yay.
About to take it. I've got a little congestion just from allergies, and I've got a little piece of tissue that I can place a few drops on and inhale it, and it always does the trick. So I've got it out about to do that as soon as this call is over.
Yes, essential defense. I love it.
Dr. Rita?
Amazing. You ladies were absolutely amazing. I just got off the plane, but I'm on call, as I always am on Wednesday night. But great information. Just to let you know, Black Seed has been such a blessing to so many patients of mine that are diabetic. It really has assisted in normalizing their blood sugars, along with the CBD, the Hempranium 500. A personal story in my family: my son has horrible allergies. I took him off of dairy. I put him on Hempranium 500, and I made him do 6 drops of black seed under his tongue in the morning and night. My son does not have allergies anymore.
Awesome.
Amazing. Black seed is something everyone on this webinar needs to have. You need to have all of our essential oils, but black seed does everything. I can't name one thing black seed doesn't do. And then peppermint. Peppermint is absolutely my best friend. I personally put 1 drop of peppermint, just 1, in my immune defense tea. That peppermint is potent. You only need 1. Like Karen said, I will take peppermint. I work out at 4:20 in the morning, so I need everything to wake me up. So I'll take that peppermint, I'll rub it on my clothes, and I will inhale it. Use my hands as a diffuser. I also put the peppermint on the soles of my feet, the palms of my feet, the soles of my feet. Like Dr. Joy said, those are the largest pores in your body. So if you want to get any essential oil in, put it on the soles of your feet. You ladies were amazing. Thank you so much. Like I said, I just got off the plane. I'm at work now, but God bless all of you. This was so informative. And I want to really impress upon all of our business partners and our guests to order the Defense Pack. The Defense Pack has what you need. Karen said we are entering not only the influenza season right now, but COVID numbers are going up. So the Defense Pack has all the essential oils. It has the immune defense tea, has the first defense, nasal defense. It has everything you need at a 10% discount as well tonight. So you want to get that entire pack. You do not want to have your family, your home not covered during this flu. So thank you, ladies.
Thank you, Dr. Rita. All right.
Everybody for the questions.
Yes, it was awesome. Thank you, all of our business partners. Thank you, all of our guests. Thank you, all of our medical advisory board. You all were amazing. Dr. Tyus, I do want to give you an opportunity to speak if you'd like, and then we can bid everyone adieu this evening.
Yeah, I was quiet because everybody was saying about the black seed oil, because I use that too on my feet because I was suffering from sweaty feet from all the running. So that has helped out. So that's it.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'm so glad we got to get into everybody's Zoom call this evening and talk about our love essential oils. Anybody has any questions, you can find each of us on the Facebook group. I'm Joy Marcel Smith there. Karen, are you Karen Williams on the Facebook group?
I am.
Okay. And Dr. Betty, are you Dr. Betty?
On Facebook, Betty Guy Smith.
Betty Guy Smith. Okay. All right. So all of our business partners can find us there. All of our guests can find us there. And if you have any further questions, we can get back together.
And great job, Dr. Joy, in being the moderator, and just the flow was amazing.
Yes, it was.
Thank you so much. I enjoy this so much. I really enjoy it. So you all have a great evening. Ayana wants to say goodbye.
Right, Ayana.
All right. And you all have a great evening. Dr.
Good
Rita, she
night.
loves you.
I love you too.
Aw.
All right. You all have a great
Good
evening.
night.
Good night.